If you want to hit 12% body fat and see your abs pop before 2026 without doing hardly any extra work, you're in the right place. I've got 3 simple strategies you can start using today that have worked crazy fast for me and the guys I coach. So full screen the video, lock in, and let's get into it. Number 1 is that you're going to use what I call the lazy diet. Now, I'm not going to lie. Tracking your calories on an app like MyFitnessPal or MacroFactor is the best way to guarantee your results. But I know a lot of you don't want to do that. So here's what I do instead. Firstly, I'd have the same breakfast every single day. This is what I do, and for me, it's 60 grams of bran flakes, 200 grams of Greek yogurt, and 10 grams of honey. However, I'm going to say 2 things on this. Number 1, if you are going to copy that breakfast, make sure you're adjusting your portion sizes relative to your calorie intake. And number 2, if you're not going to copy that breakfast, which you don't have to, just make sure that your breakfast is based around protein and fiber. Now, there's 2 reasons for this. Firstly, because you want your breakfast to be filling, and having protein and fiber will do that. Number 2 is that you don't want your breakfast to spike your blood sugar levels early in the day. Why? Because that's exactly what causes the mid-morning cravings that so many people experience. And then whatever breakfast you're having, make sure you wash it down with a big glass of water, ideally with electrolytes, but that's not essential. So that's breakfast. Simple and repeatable. Then for the rest of the day, you want to pick 1 vegetable. So for me, that's spinach because it's high in protein and I like the taste. 1 fruit. So for me, that's blueberries because they're full of antioxidants and they feel like a sweet treat. 1 complex starchy carb. So for me, that's rice because I can literally stick it in the microwave for 90 seconds. So it's quick, cheap, and very easy. 3 to 4 complete protein sources. And by complete protein sources, I mean the ones that contain all 9 essential amino acids that our body can't naturally synthesize. So for me, that would be beef, chicken, salmon, and prawns. So a nice mix of meat and fish. And crucially, 1 treat. Something that you're going to love and look forward to and that you can have every single day. Now, I'm not talking about cookies or chips. I'm talking about something like dark chocolate, which is the one I have, nuts, air pop, popcorn, or even low-calorie ice cream. In fact, funny story for you, when I first lost 50 pounds, and I did that in just 4 months, I ate half a tub of Halo Top ice cream every single day without fail. Then finally, you're going to add 2 eggs to one of your meals. Or, I suppose, if you wanted to, you could have them as a snack because eggs are just that versatile. And, I nearly forgot, half a pint of cow's milk. Not almond milk, not oat milk, real cow's milk. I personally go for the full fat milk, both for the nutrient profile and the complete source of protein. But if you want to save a few calories, there's no harm at all in going for semi-skimmed. And those components, what we just went through, and don't worry, I'm going to cover it again in a second, are the components that are going to form your meals and your snacks for the day. No calorie tracking required at all. So just to recap, you have the same breakfast every single day. Then at lunch and dinner, you have your protein, your veg, and your complex starchy carb with 2 eggs at one of those meals. And a glass of milk whenever you want throughout the day. Morning could be good because it will give you a nice protein boost, and the mornings tend to be when most people struggle to get their protein. Or of course, you could have it post-workout. And by doing this, you're not just simplifying your diet, you're removing any decision fatigue. What you're also doing is focusing on the quality of the food that you eat. And when you do that, you don't really have to worry about the quantity of the calories, which means you don't have to track any of it. Because when you cut out all the crap and all the variety, it's actually harder to go over your calories than it is to stay under them. And then last but not least, the final piece of advice I would give you here is to give yourself a cutoff time. Intermittent fasting is a bit of a funny one because technically speaking, we all do it because none of us are eating when we're asleep. So naturally, we're creating a non-eating window of anything from 8 to 10 hours throughout the day. However, I do believe there is a psychological benefit of telling yourself that you're not going to eat anything after, say, 8 p.m. at night. Now, personally, I would probably bring that forward an hour to 7 because as I've spoken about in previous videos, you don't want to be eating 3 hours before you go to sleep because digestion is a metabolic process that raises your heart rate, prevents you getting down from a resting heart rate that you need to get into good, deep REM sleep. But that's just like an optional extra. It's optimization. You want to nail the other bits first. But the main thing here, this lazy diet that I've created, is it's an ideal that you focus on the quality of the calories so you don't have to worry about the quantity. Trust me when I say this, the number of guys who I have worked with and they've been shocked when I've given them 2,500 calories to eat a day, but they want to lose the weight. Then they come to me after 1 week and say, Doug, I'm really struggling to eat more than like 1,900. When you clean up your diet, when you consciously, mindfully actually try this and focus on the food that you're eating, that's when it gets easier. And then number 2 kind of goes hand in hand with this, and that's to cut out around the sides. So if you're watching a video like this, it's safe to assume that you're what I would call a health-seeking individual, or you're at least curious about being healthy. And that tells me that you're already trying. So it's very unlikely that your main meals, especially Monday to Friday, are unhealthy. It's much more likely to be your weekends, which are making you inconsistent, or the shit around the sides, the condiments, the smoothies, the booze, the fancy coffees that you don't even realize have 300 calories in them, the sodas, the cooking oils, and the late night snacks. Listen, it's easier said than done, but if you can cut out all this crap or at least make a few sensible swaps, you will easily lose 20 to 30 pounds before the end of this year. Because this stuff is subtly adding hundreds, if not thousands of calories to your diet every single week without you even realizing it. You could be meticulously tracking every single one of your meals and then free pouring 300 calories of olive oil into everything that you cook. Now, 300 calories on a one-off incident doesn't sound like that much, but if you were to do that twice a day, every single day for 7 days, that's going to add up to 4,200 calories. Now, bear in mind that there are just 3,500 calories in 1 pound of fat. That's over a pound of fat that you could be losing every single week just by cutting out olive oil. But the problem is that we've been told foods like olive oil are healthy. They have been marketed to us in this way. And technically speaking, olive oil is healthy, but not in the portions that most people have it. So in that example, the simple solution is to swap the olive oil out for the 1-calorie cooking spray. But listen, I've already done a whole other video on the best low-calorie swaps that I'm going to put, I think it goes up here, but it might go up here. You'll be able to find it. So you can go ahead and click and watch that video after you finish this one. And then strategy number 3 is to move around for 10 minutes each hour. The average man is doing 4,500 steps a day, which terrifyingly means that 50% of men are doing less than that. So if I was to turn around and say that you have to do 10,000 steps a day, that probably sounds quite overwhelming, right? After all, it's more than double. But here's the thing. It only actually takes 90 minutes a day to hit 10,000 steps. And if you do that, you're walking the equivalent of 70 marathons a year. And that adds up to you burning 40 pounds of fat in a year without changing anything else. 10 minutes an hour for 9 hours is 90 minutes. See how easy it is when you actually break it down? But listen, like any new habit, at the beginning, it's going to feel weird, a little bit uncomfortable, and you're going to forget. So even though this might sound extreme, what I'd advise you to do is set an alarm for every hour on your phone, not every hour throughout the night, just in the working day. And I get it. This is going to be super annoying at first, but that's kind of the point, and it's going to hold you accountable. But if you stick to it, you'll start seeing and, more importantly, feeling the benefit. But listen, I get it. If you're in the US or the UK, we're going into winter, but we cannot let that be an excuse. So my top tip here, if you haven't already got one, is to go on Amazon and get yourself a walking pad. The last time I checked, they were only about 150 pounds, which is, I believe, about $175. I appreciate that is still a lot of money to a lot of people, but considering you're going to use it for the next 6 months and then 6 months every single year, trust me, the benefits past there, it's going to pay for itself in no time. And if nothing else, it's going to pay for the therapy bills that you'd need if you weren't doing the steps. Because walking doesn't just help you burn calories and fat, it helps with your mental health. You see, walking activates a part of your autonomic nervous system called your parasympathetic nervous system. This has been proven to relieve stress, and stress reduction improves your sleep. And improved sleep is a major factor to you burning more fat rather than muscle. In fact, a brand new sleep study that has just come out in the last couple of years has proven that people who are sleeping more are burning more fat than the people who are underslept who are burning more muscle. They both lost the same amount of weight, as you can see on the screen right now, but the effect that the sleep had on their body composition was drastic. Me standing here just telling you to be less stressed, especially in 2025 with all the madness that's going on around the world at the moment, isn't helpful. But in my honest opinion, I've worked with hundreds of guys, maybe even 1,000 at this point over the last 7 years. I can assure you that getting your steps in every single day is without a doubt one of the best ways to reduce your stress, improve your sleep quality, And then that creates that virtuous cycle that just makes everything easier. But listen, I'll be honest with you. These 3 habits on their own won't get you shredded. I mean, we haven't even covered your trading, right? But what they will do is make you consistent and help you build that momentum. And momentum is like a magical drug, but it's a magical drug that you can't buy. You have to earn it. And what momentum also gives you is self-belief. In other words, what these 3 habits and strategies do is they give you a launch pad. And trust me, if you stick to them, not even for 3 or 4 months, I'm talking like 3 or 4 weeks, you won't want to be lazy anymore. Starting anything is the hardest part. Change is uncomfortable, but honestly, you won't regret it, man. A lot of guys have convinced themselves that they're happy, but in reality, they're just comfortable. And there's a big difference between comfortable and happy, which is normally about 30 pounds. And the sad reality is, jokes aside, that for a lot of guys, it's been so long since they were truly happy, they've forgotten what it even feels like. Their baseline has dropped so low that they've convinced themselves where they are right now is just their new normal. I literally spoke to a guy on the phone yesterday in his early 60s who told me that he was convinced it was just down to age. But as soon as he started making some lifestyle interventions, he said he felt 30 again. So yes, at the beginning, this will feel a little bit weird. It'll feel a little bit uncomfortable. It might even feel a little bit hard, but just push through that initial bit. Because once you start to see and more importantly, feel the positive benefits, it will be nothing but up for you. Do not settle for being down here as the new normal. When you start with small changes like this, and when you start to create a little bit of momentum, you can start to create what we call a flywheel that becomes very self-reinforcing. So give these 3, the lazy diet, cutting out the shit around the sides, and moving around for 10 minutes on every hour a go. Just do them for the next 7 days. Commit for 1 week. And if you don't feel any better, come back and leave me a nasty comment. Anyway, I really hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, if you want to work closer with me, then you can check out the link that's under this video to see exactly how my coaching program works. Guys, we are locking in for the winter. For the next 6 months, I want to get a small group of guys and completely transform their existence. If you're interested, go and check it out. There's a short video you can watch on there. No hard feelings. If not, I'll see you in the next one.